Let's move into the wide receiver position.
Cool.
You good
Let's
there?
do that. Yeah, let's
Cost
do
you $15.8 million if you want to franchise any of these guys. So you're going to rank them based on importance to their team. And these are bigger name wide receivers who are coming up on free agency, and maybe their teams tag them to prevent them from getting there. So we have Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay.
Right.
Allen Robinson, Chicago. Kenny Golladay, Detroit. And Will Fuller, Houston.
Okay.
Go ahead and rank away.
So right away, Will Fuller's not getting franchise tag. There's no way. I mean, I like Will Fuller, the talent. Come on, he can't stay on the field. Then he did PEDs last year. I mean, so I'm not cool with that. No way.
And he's not as versatile as the other guys.
Definitely not. He is a home run hitter, take the top off the defense type of guy. So he is last of that list right there. My number one will be Kenny Golladay.
Ooh.
Yes, I know you probably weren't expecting that, but listen to my reasons first, okay?
Yes.
Golladay is really good, well-rounded receiver. I mean, certainly, again, there's 20 top 10 receivers in football, like we've talked about.
Right.
But I think he is legitimately hovering around that top 10 for sure. He can do everything. He can beat you deep. Even if he doesn't beat you deep, he's the kind of guy you can kind of throw it up to, and he can 50-50 ball it. And he can go over the middle and do kind of the physical routes too. I'm a big fan of Kenny Golladay on your team. Plus, you just traded for Jared Goff.
Yes.
Well, you want to make that, you want to sell that to your fan base a little bit. So there is no way I'm letting him out of town. Marvin Jones is a free agent. Kenny Golladay, for me, is, out of all these guys, the number one guy to tag just because of those reasons. I'm not saying he's necessarily better than all of these guys.
Right.
All right, but I think just the importance to the team and where they're at, they'd be crazy to let him hit the free agent market right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if they let him in the free agent market, they're going to have to really break the bank.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now, kind of backstory here, how I get ready for this. I was trying to anticipate what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So I had you ranking him at third, and I really like him. And I had notes built up to kind of sell why you shouldn't have him ranked so low. But I had started with what you mentioned. I mean, they just went and got Jared Goff.
Right.
And even though they're in a total rebuild, new head coach, new GM, the whole thing, they need Jared Goff to have some success.
Yes.
And so what does he need? He needs some pretty good wide receivers.
Definitely.
So to me, that was why I had him. I had him at number 2 on this list, but I like that you had him high.
Yeah.
And I think he also makes some pretty good, like the only good young playmakers they have in the passing game, Hawkinson, Swift, he makes them better as well.
Agreed. And if you're going to run the Anthony Lynn offense, which it's going to be run, it's going to be run-based, and boots and play actions is what I expect, Golladay fits that really well. Golladay is the guy, play action, 15 yards over the middle, in between linebackers, he'll take the hit, catch the ball.
Better than 15 yards per catch, by the way, too, the last couple of years.
That's what I mean.
Shouldn't be overlooked.
He is a home run hitter that way. He's that's where I'm a big Golladay fan, and I don't think you can afford to let him out at the door if you're Detroit.
And they also have Marvin Jones, free agent, Danny Amendola, free agent.
Exactly.
So they have to have something.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's unfortunate
he's
we
in the
agree
prime
this
of his career.
strongly right away. I know.
He's in the prime of his career.
And he's their own pick, even though it's not the same GM.
Yeah.
He's a good story there, and apparently a good team guy as well.
Definitely. All of those things match up. So that to me is the number one guy I would out of this list. And that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's better than number 2.
Sure.
Which is
to his team.
Yes, to his
team. Situation,
Yes. Now, Allen Robinson is awesome. That's who I'm going to make number 2.
Okay.
Right? And Allen Robinson, of course, is super talented, really very similar to Kenny Golladay. I mean, where I would say Kenny Golladay has more of a deep threat possibility than Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's awesome. He's like Gumby adjusting to the football. He's 50-50 guy. Over the middle stuff we just talked about with Golladay, Allen Robinson's the same way.
He's all they got.
He's all they got, kind of. So this is where I make him number 2.
Yeah.
1, I don't think they're a team that's wide receiver dependent. Like as far as wide receiver play doesn't make their offense. I don't think their offense is good enough to really utilize the receivers the right way in a lot of ways.
That says a lot right there.
Well, yes, I know. But here's the other aspect of this. They got a good young receiver in Darryl Mooney, who I really like. They got a guy like Anthony Miller, who's a pretty damn good receiver too. I don't look at them as like totally depleted at that position. Now, and then you got Cole Kmet at tight end and all of that. Plus, I guess the other thing that I'm taking into account here is I don't know if Allen Robinson really wants to be there. That's the other thing. I mean, if you really pay attention to Allen...
How much does that have to do with it, though?
Well, I mean, I think he probably feels disrespect that he didn't get something earlier. And then also, if you look at his social media and things about him that he said there, he's kind of sent some cryptic messages out there about, the team in general, and maybe him not wanting to be there. So.
Yeah. Maybe he's feeling the same thing that you just said, that their offense isn't really that wide receiver friendly.
I would think that's part of it. I would. So, and, the Chicago Bears, let me just hit on this too. As far as salary cap, things like that, it's not like the greatest position right now. They need to clear $1 million or $2 million basically in their cap space just to get under right now.
Yeah.
All right. So they got issues there. To me, the thing I'm looking for with Allen Robinson and why I also make it number 2. Yeah, I don't think it's maybe imperative for him to be on the football team in general, as whereas I just go, if they don't have him, it can't work. I don't look at it because I don't think, they're that type of team like I was explaining to you. But I think the big thing is off of that too, I could see a tag and trade with Allen Robinson. I could see that. They have holes on their team.
Oh, plenty of them.
They got tackle issues, offensive line issues in general.
Yep.
They're stuck with some players on their defense in some bad contracts, like Robert Quinn, who did not live up to his expectations. So those are, I guess, the reasons I kind of made him the number 2 guy on the list, more or less.
Okay, so if that's part of the conversation, let's even say you're Ryan Pace and that's your number 1 priority. You're in meetings, you're like, man, we should tag and trade this very good player.
Yeah.
If they get what? A second-round pick? Well, what counts as the right value for him if that's the route they're hoping to go?
Depending on who's drafting and where, Allen Robinson is a clear number 1 receiver in football. Are you getting yourself to saying a first-round pick? I don't know if it would be that crazy as I sit here and think about it. I didn't think about the trade aspect or value totally, but I think you could maybe get a late first-rounder, early second-rounder for a guy like Allen Robinson.
And you'd make that move?
I would really, really think about it. I would. I'd want to get a feel for how much the guy wants to be there, everything like that. But yes, I would not. I don't think I'd be afraid to make that move. I would not. Like I said, Anthony Miller, I like him. I like the Darnell Mooney a lot. I think he is a game breaker wide receiver. Again, they didn't have the quarterback or the offense really to take advantage of him. And that's where I guess I worry about the Allen Robinson thing too.
I know this is a revisiting, but I think it's a good point, and I want to get in some Twitter questions. So Jack Schneider 13 basically asked what I just asked you. What can the Bears get in return if they tag and trade Allen Robinson? So late first, early second, you think is realistic?
I think it is realistic or if it is a second, then maybe you get some other picks along with it. I'm trying to think of just some wide receiver trades. Over the
tag and trade, I think, Pete, you can check this. I think the last time we saw it was Jarvis Landry.
I think you're right. I believe you're right. And what did they get for him? I want to say a number. I want to say maybe a 2. Was
2
it
at the highest?
Yeah. Yeah. And Pete's looking right now. But I would say this too. I think Allen Robinson's. And I really like Jarvis Landry. I think Allen Robinson's probably a better player than Jarvis Landry. I do. I think he's more of a one-on-one matchup nightmare.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry's a great, 1A or awesome number 2 to me. He's not necessarily like the number 1 marquee guy where you just go, if he's one-on-one, we're going to abuse you all day. He's not that kind of guy. Allen Robinson can kind of be that guy.
I think you're going to be surprised at all that they got for Jarvis Landry. They got a 4th and a 7th is all.
Oh, a 4th and a 7th.
4th and a 7th.
Well, he wanted huge money.
Yeah.
And there was this is right. And there was a disagreement. Him and Adam Gase did not like each other.
Right.
So there was issues there altogether. And yeah, I guess the price tag, of course, was a part of that altogether too.
Right. And I'm just reading another question about it's backing up, but Jordan Cole wants to know what the Lions could get in the tag and trade for Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, I would think it would be something similar to what we just said there. I can't imagine that they're going to give him away for anything less than a 2. Kenny Golladay did get hurt this past year, so that goes against him a little bit. But damn, he's kind of a game-breaking receiver.
Yeah.
And maybe I should have came a little bit more prepared for the trade scenarios and everything like that. But yeah, I think I look at that as kind of right there along the Allen Robinson thing.
I think it's okay where you are. That's the point of the season we are in right now in February. Like you bring up a topic and it's like it's your first knee-jerk reaction to it. And I think it'll also help as we get more and more into like how deep the wide receivers are in the draft. if it makes sense, like
Right.
a late first. Here's what they can get at that point, or an early second.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm thinking about like other trades at receiver with Brandon Cooks. I mean, Odell was different with that one with the Browns because there was, money involved. They traded players, so that got convoluted and everything too to go along with it. But yeah, I think that I think those guys are yes. 2, high second rounds, maybe late first round to get a player like that.
Say that one more time, Pete.
Oh, so then I'm too high.
DeAndre Hopkins, second round pick?
Well, but
is that what you said?
But yes. Yeah. So what I'm not taking into account, it's because they knew DeAndre was going to ask for a $22 million a year contract.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't think Golladay or Allen Robinson are going to command that.
No.
It's going to be somewhere in the 17 to 18 a year type of range.
To franchise
so maybe
them
I'm
is
too
just
high
under 16
with my first rounds. Maybe it is. Maybe it is second.
Late first? We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Same.
So I think this next one is the most interesting one on the list. Chris Godwin.
I know.
Because of what he means to Tom Brady, because of the Buccaneers start out as the number one team. So you have him as third on this list?
I do have him as third, and it doesn't mean, again, I love the player.
Should they tag him?
It depends on the Shaq Barrett thing. I mean, if you're going to give me the choice of one or the other, I'm tagging Shaq Barrett. I think he's more important to their football team. Godwin's great, but, one, they got good tight ends there. They do have Mike Evans.
I think Brate is a free agent as well, though?
Brate might be a free agent, but I expect Gronk to be back there.
And O.J.
They
Howard
do have O.J. Howard coming back.
Yep.
They got Scotty Miller and Mike Evans. They got the kid Johnson that they drafted out of Minnesota, right? So he's going to work okay there. And I expect Antonio Brown to be back. That's where I'm – now they need to hear that answer first, maybe before they figure out what they're going to do from Godwin, because I think that would make them feel better about.
I think that's a pretty big drop-off for a full season to go from Godwin to Brown.
Yeah.
In the same spot.
Well, yes, but I think it can be filled, and it's not going to make a huge difference to their football team. Where I would sit here and go, if they lose Shaq Barrett, I would go, that's going to change their team. That will change their team. Godwin, I sit there and still go, that offensive line, if they can run the ball a little bit, those tight ends, Evans, Scotty Miller, and if they do get Antonio Brown, that's enough. Brady's going to be able to make that work, and they're going to be still damn good.
And Brate's back. He's under contract for another
year. Okay, so, cool. I didn't think he was a free agent, but okay. So that's where I go. He's a little bit expendable, and I don't mean that as a disrespect to the player. I just mean to their situation in general.
Yeah. These are all hard situations to look at. All these teams want these players back.
Yeah.
Play the other side here a little bit with Godwin. I mean, he does play in the slot first and can also play outside.
I know, he can.
I don't know if those other two, and I like Scotty Miller and I like Johnson. I think that Godwin's presence next to the one of Mike Evans makes those other two a lot better.
Well, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Godwin, if they were a real, spread team and we're going to be in the shotgun and getting 3 and 4 wide receivers a whole lot, I think he'd have more value as compared to maybe the way they're playing now, which they're going to be tight ends, 2 receivers, protect them up like we talked, like we saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2 and 3 man routes. You better stop the run because we'll overpower you. It's single safety. Brady's going to throw a strike, and their guy's going to get open enough to where he's just going to have enough room to fit it in there.
Right.
And that to me, it doesn't beg on we got to have Godwin back.
Right.
I guess that's my thought.
And I think it certainly makes, the argument makes more sense that Barrett means more to the overall team success than Godwin. But you brought up the name here that to me is kind of the wild card X factor. That's Brady. He's going to have a say. And he loves Chris Godwin.
I know that. I only loves Antonio Brown too, though. And I think Antonio Brown's there because of that. Now, I mean, yes, he's going to want Godwin back. We know that. But I just think in the big picture of things and where their team is at, and we'll hit on defensive ends and edge guys in a little bit. It's a little bit more expendable than I think than Shaq Barrett and some of the other situations.
Right. Yeah. Quickly thinking about and let's see if we get that. We're going to eventually get there. I was going to go defense with the Bucs.
Yeah, don't go there yet.
Don't go there yet.
Yeah.
Final name on this list, Will Fuller.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. There's no way you tag him. There's no way.
Not a chance.
And, I can't even remember. Is his suspension going to go into this next year, or can he start right away? But either way, there's just too much of an injury history. Yeah. He's going to be a great bargain deal for somebody. Somebody's going to get him for a nice price, nothing crazy, and he could help their team if he can stay healthy. But that's a big if. That's been a big question mark for him the whole career. You know, I'm thinking about the trade thing more now than anything because I was so focused on having to rank these guys and all of that too. Because I'm thinking about DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going, damn, yeah, that was only a second round they got. But also, teams knew they had to get rid of him.
They didn't get the proper value.
Well, they knew they had to get rid of him because of the Watson contract, and they just paid Laramie Tunsil to be they couldn't give 3 guys 60% of the salary cap.
It's a hard one to judge as precedent. Because of what you just mentioned.
That's where, I probably need to dive a little deeper into the Allen Robinson, Golladay trade value thing, and I'm sorry that I didn't do that.
I think, like I said, I think it's fair. We're in February, kind of sorting these things out. Will Fuller misses week 1, Pete? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So he misses week 1.
Yep, and you know me, I don't like cheaters.
There you go.
I don't. It pisses me off. I wouldn't want it on my team.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. Like that's just
for the
not,
PEDs.
Does not. I do not. That does not fly with me.
Yeah.
I do not fly with that shit.
Yeah.
No.
Same way in college. Like, did you see any of it when you were?
I didn't see any of it in college. I always let it be known in locker rooms.
Yeah.
I was always like the loud guy in the locker room, like, oh, cheater on steroids.
Yeah.
Like if if we were talking about another team or anything like that, there was a few guys throughout my career where I certainly questioned.
Sure.
But I never knew for sure. I never knew for sure. But there's a handful of guys, and I'm not going to bring out their names, where I just went, hey, there's looking like a Greek god, and then there's looking like a Greek god. Like, what the hell is that?
How did
you?
happen?
Yeah, and that to me was the guys that jumped out to me at times.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.